Chapter 1. The full moon poured silvery light down around me as I arrived about 8 minutes late for my job interview with a vampire. Mr. Potararu had kindly agreed to meet me in my little town of Moonlight instead of giving me confusing directions to some place in the city that I'd never before driven to by myself. I chose a bar that was easy to direct him to from the tollway. The saloon resided on the corner of Sunbank and Route 30. Normally, it would only take me 10 minutes to drive from my house to this bar, except that a huge John Deere tractor hauling just picked corn took up the whole damn road, and I had to follow it the 1 mile from my house to turn onto Sunbank. This was not your ordinary 9-to-5 office job for which I was applying. The ad had read, "Clairvoyant needed. Only serious applicants need apply." Disbelief had filled me as I read the ad, and I read it 5 or 6 times before I dialed the number. It was long distance, a Chicago area code, and I made mistakes before I had gotten it right. Yes, I was nervous about the interview. I didn't know he was a vampire until I spoke to him over the phone, of course. How I knew this was second nature. Sometimes all I had to do was walk up to a house I'd never been inside before, and I knew the layout of the place. Or the emotions of the people inside a room would sometimes flood me. And every once in a while, merely by speaking to someone on the phone, I would get a read. This is how I knew that Mr. Potararu was equipped with fangs and drank blood. Mostly, though, I only needed to touch something to get a read. Sometimes they came as visions. I didn't do that often. Not at all, if I could help it. Being a clairvoyant sometimes sucked, especially on a social level. Early on, I'd had to learn to shield my mind against this ability, or hide in a closet, literally, or go insane. The gloves I always wore were my only other protection. I'm a touch clairvoyant, which is very rare. Climbing down out of my Jeep, I took in the other vehicles in the lot. There were 7 cars. Well, 3 were cars, the rest were pickups. Not many people here, but it was Monday. Black and sharp, my shadow advanced ahead of me on the gravel lot as I walked toward the saloon. I'd turned 21 4 weeks ago and had only been here once. I spotted a sleek black Jaguar parked near the building. This could not belong to any of the regulars inside. It had to have been Mr. Potararu's. Curious, I angled for it and stopped next to it, pulled in a little breath to steady myself, and closed my eyes. Suddenly, my mind sent me a flash of an image, twin white spires cutting skyward over a Chicago skyline. Whoa! I had a little bit of a head spin as I opened my eyes. As the spinning stopped, a wave of energy hit me, totally and inconceivably savage and possibly carnivorous? A tangled emotion that, as a human, I couldn't fully appreciate. In fact, I didn't know where it came from. That's when I saw a low shadow ease from a dense copse of trees around the far side of the building. When it emerged from shadow into the light, recognition threw me. I could hardly believe what I was looking at. Large and gray with 4 legs and big yellow eyes staring right at me, the creature growled low and menacing. Keys still in my hand, I froze and surveyed my surroundings. I was alone. The wolf stood between the tavern and me. Behind me, and about 50 yards beyond my Jeep, the 2 roads that converged at the corner didn't have a lot of traffic. The closest house was simply too far away. Without warning, the wolf lunged at me. I screamed. For one frozen moment, I thought I was dead. All of my 21 years flashed before my eyes. Big, sharp teeth grasped my free arm, the one I held up to protect myself. I batted at the animal with my purse, smacking it pretty hard, and it let go of me. I kicked him, connecting a blow to the rib cage, but this did little to deter him. By the loping little jump he made to stay clear of my swipe, I sensed this was play to him. The wolf snatched my purse and ripped it out of my hands, then shook it as though it were a living thing. Tossing it aside, he snarled and lunged at me again, snapping at my left hand, the one that still gripped the keys.